What does it take to terrify men who are not afraid of dying? In the 1970s, Formula One wasn't a sport. It was a deadly roulette wheel. Drivers knew that statistically, one of them probably wouldn't survive the season. These were men who strapped themselves into firebombs and drove at 170 miles per hour. Odds week after week was just another Tuesday. And yet, even among those fearless warriors, there was one name that made the entire paddock go quiet. Not out of respect. Quiet out of pure disbelief. His name was Ronnie Peterson. The super Swede. Colin Chapman, the genius engineer behind the Lotus cars he drove, once said, "Ronnie drives absolutely flat out all the time. If he's off the pace, then it might be the car, not him." Think about that. The man who built the car was admitting the driver was always at the absolute limit. Today we're diving into the legend of the fastest man Formula One has ever seen, through the words of the legends who raced against him, shared garages with him, fought him wheel to wheel, and in one case pulled him from a burning wreck with their bare hands. Jackie Stewart, three-time world champion and the definition of precision, admitted he wasn't always the fastest, he was the smartest. But when Ronnie Peterson showed up in 1971, Stewart watched him in his mirrors constantly. Peterson finished second in the championship that year, without winning a single race. Just relentless second and third places in a car that wasn't even the best on the grid. Stewart realized something profound. While he hunted for the perfect line, Peterson was always searching for the absolute limit and pushing past where anyone else dared. The proof came at the very first Swedish Grand Prix in 1973. Peterson took pole, led every lap, but a slow puncture in the final lap handed the win to Denny Hulme in front of 50,000 heartbroken Swedish fans. Even in defeat, Ronnie was untouchable. Emerson Fittipaldi, the reigning world champion and Lotus clear #1, got the shock of his life in 1973 when Colin Chapman signed Peterson as his teammate. Same car, same team, same everything. Yet session after session Peterson was faster in qualifying. He won 4 races that year while Fittipaldi took the title on consistency. The pressure of having the super Swede in the garage next to him was too much. Fittipaldi eventually left for McLaren, admitting the experience was unlike anything he'd faced before or since. Some rivalries aren't built on hate, they're built on deep respect. James Hunt and Ronnie Peterson had been friends since their early careers. They both lived life at full throttle, on and off the track. Hunt described Peterson's driving style as something completely different, a man with zero interest in managing limits. He drove right to the edge, and then slightly beyond it, every single lap. On September 10, 1978 at Monza, chaos erupted at the start. Peterson's Lotus slammed into the barriers and burst into flames. Hunt didn't hesitate. Along with Clay Regazzoni, he ran straight into the fire and pulled his friend out. Peterson was conscious but badly injured. Hunt stood over him and physically stopped him from looking down at his shattered legs. It was a small human act of love. Medical help took 20 minutes to arrive. The next morning, Ronnie Peterson was gone. Hunt never fully recovered from that day. Niki Lauda, the ultimate calculating computer, saw Peterson differently. In his memoir, Lauda was blunt. Peterson wasn't great at setting up cars or testing. He just got in and drove flat out, letting raw talent make up for everything. In qualifying, he was untouchable. In 1976, just 42 days after Lauda's own horrific crash at the Nürburgring, Ferrari tried to sign Peterson as a replacement. Lauda personally vetoed it from his hospital bed. Not out of fear as a person, but because he knew exactly how dangerous Peterson would be to his championship. Mario Andretti didn't even want Peterson on the team when Lotus developed the revolutionary ground effect Lotus 79. But once he arrived, Andretti was stunned by his professionalism. Peterson honored his #2 contract even when he was clearly faster. At the Dutch Grand Prix he shadowed Andretti the entire race, never passing, later saying his brakes were fading. The two families became close. Their wives spent time together, they played tennis. Andretti called Peterson one of only 4 true friends from his entire career. Before Monza in 1978, Andretti told him they'd race freely in the final races with no team orders. The next morning, Andretti learned of the crash from a toll booth attendant. He won the championship that day, but has never been able to truly celebrate it. Ronnie Peterson competed in 123 Grand Prix, he won 10, stood on the podium 26 times, never won the world title. But ask Stewart, Fittipaldi, Hunt, Lauda or Andretti who had the most raw, natural speed in that golden era, and the answer is always the same: Ronnie Peterson. He didn't calculate speed, he didn't refine it, he was simply born with it. The car responded to him like it responded to no one else. He was denied the championship by bad cars, bad luck, and one tragic start at Monza. Nearly 50 years later, his name still carries a different weight. Not just history, but a warning. A reminder of something the sport witnessed once and has been trying to understand ever since. Some drivers win championships, Ronnie Peterson did something rarer. He made the greatest drivers in the world feel for a moment like they were watching something they could never explain. That kind of legacy doesn't fade. It lasts forever.